It's Bathurst week. There have been some amazing and sound downright boring Bathurst 1000s over the years. Damo and I, we're going to go through them all. Well, no, we're not. We're going to share our favourite Bathurst 1000s because we don't have time to go through them all. And of the modern era, basing it around from 1993 to 2024, pains me to say it, only 8 Ford victories have ever happened. Damo, welcome to Bathurst week. We are excited because we are going to win.
Yes, we have to. Otherwise,
give up.
We're going to change the name. It'll become the Toxic Valve Bounce, and we will just be here absolutely jaded if we don't. As long as it's a fair go, that's what we want. But you are correct. We thought we'd do something a little different where we just talk through our favourite Bathursts that we've had over the years and try to keep it to the modern supercar era. There were some greats that even the Holden camp won, but we're not including those, and we're certainly not including the last 2 years because they have been rubbish.
The last 2 years and COVID, I feel don't really count. No, mate, we sit here, we discuss Bathurst regularly and frustrations and everything else, and you and I can agree that there have been some great Bathursts over the years. Honourable mentions, 1998, Brighton Richo, and the underdog where they crashed on, what was it, Friday practice, I think. The car was busted. They get the car back. They started, I think, 15th they'd qualified.
I think that was they started 15th. There was 45 starters in that year, if you can believe that. 45 cars.
Yeah, they were the days.
And it was the first of that, like that original kind of reverse pit strategy where you kind of plan from the rear and work it backwards. So they're on a slightly alternate strategy, and it finally paid off. For the new, it was when SBR really was kicking off, just had arrived at the scene, so to speak, to take this win.
Because they basically purchased that team from Jonesy the year before, if I remember rightly. And so it was literally their first hit out, really, at Bathurst. And actually, it might be their only win at Bathurst now, I come to think of it, as a team. So that's unfortunate.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
Have we never had an Ambrose win? We never had an Ingle win. We never had a crap.
We should have won 2005. 2005 is one that we should have won.
Yeah, definitely should have won that one. We've had a few should haves though.
Should have, could have, didn't.
So yes, that was definitely honourable mention. I guess there's a whole batch in the middle that we really loved. It was kind of peak time for us in terms of our age, but the 2006 where Lowndes and 888 won for Brocky. Brocky had recently passed away.
That's not your favourite?
It was very close, mate. Very close. I guess being a bit of an older guy, that it was right at that moment where I was really appreciating a lot of the history and loving the experience of being involved. And it was a tough one. It was a tough one because just that all of Brocky's cars being driven around on the before the start of the race, and then for Lowndes to come through and to take that win was epic. Epic.
Yeah, it's one of the best. Absolutely one of the best. And for Heartstring, it is the best, right? It doesn't get much better than that. Also, for me, one of the other ones that I liked was actually the year after, which was the 07. For a different reason, because it sort of was a dry race, a little bit of an Oreo, I guess. But that was the year, and this really still annoys me a little bit. It was the year that Frosty and Richo had a car that was so strong that they should have won that race. And
they definitely should have.
Frosty threw it off the road. Yes, it was in changing conditions, so I'll give him a little bit of a go there. But he threw it off the road, and had he not done that, I think that would have been the first Frosty win at Mount Panorama, and he would have had 2 Damo, not just the one.
Yes, he would have had 2. It was an epic little all four wheels off the deck as he goes over the ripple. It was a huge one, and just managed to drive out the other side. And unfortunately for him, no good. But for us, as in the Ford camp, and for the second year in a row, Lowndes was there with Whincup to take that one. So that was a good one too. And then obviously the three-peat. So back when we liked Triple Eight, before they defected, and Lowndes and Whincup again took it out. So for the three-peat, that was another epic one. That was, well, as a Ford fan, getting 3 in a row, we just felt like the Christmases had all come at once, got all our presents, because it was an epic time before some more lean times.
Yeah, well, I mean, if we're really honest here, it's just one team that was doing the winning. It just didn't matter which badge was on the freaking car.
Very true. Very true.
But yes, look, the three-peat is a special thing because, you don't often see it. And it's a hard thing to do regardless of how good the team is. You need everything to go your way. And it certainly did for those 3 years for that mob. So, great time, because I remember all the Ford flags were waving very high in the stands, in the crowds, everywhere. So just moving on from the three-peat, the other one that I particularly like was Frosty in 2013, a very close finish with Jamie Whincup. But what you don't remember was there was a battle behind them between Jason Bright in a BJR Commodore, Garth Tander in the then HRT Commodore. It had Reynolds and Lowndes all vying for that last podium. And at the beginning of the last stint, it was actually Bright who was challenging the front two. But as the stint wore on, those two sort of scampered off into the distance, having their own mega battle. And then obviously watching Whincup make that dive around the outside and then Frosty forcing him wide and over the crown.
All's fair. Beautiful.
Loved it. It was amazing. I was very happy. Very happy.
It was. And I guess probably the last one with an honourable mention that we want to stick in there just to rile up all of our friends out there is the Scotty Mclaughlin 2019. Because I know it gets under the skin of all the Holden people and some of the Erebus fans too. So we'll put that one out there. I don't need to say anything else. We'll let you decide in the comments, and you can come at us about how it wasn't real, and here was the qualifying, the engine, I'm over it. It was still a great win. And according to all the laws and the books, he won. So well done, Scotty Mac. Finally got it.
He did finally get it, and it was a great win. And regardless of any of the shenanigans on the other side of the garage, he deserved to win that race. So you can all sod off.
Yes. And while we've got you, feel free to put in your favourite Bathurst in the comments as well. Let us know. And thanks to all the recent commenters, the subscribers, and the likes that we've been commenters. Can't even talk. Commentators. Yes, for all the people who write in comments. So love to hear your favourites. Let us know, even if you are from the other side of the camp and you want to celebrate some of those big wins, because there's a lot to choose from.
1995, I mean, even 97, the Perkins victories, there's so many. So, and in their own right, you could argue probably that all of them are good in their own right. But for us, this is where we're going to kick it off. And I'm going to start, Damo, with
Please do.
My favourite Bathurst. This is a Bathurst that I watched relentlessly as a kid. And I saw it live. It was probably the first Bathurst that I watched in its entirety. And Dad recorded it on VHS, and I think I watched it in its entirety another 54 times.
Because you were young, And it was your first sort of like big indoctrination into it. But the fact that Dad did have it on recording meant that we could relive that one. So it was a favourite of ours.
All right. So 1994,
yes.
the best Bathurst ever. 55 grid. Yeah. 55 grid with 2 litres and privateer entries and the top dogs. It was jeopardy everywhere. You know, it was back in the day where pit stops took forever. You know, it was hard to, like, everything was difficult back then. And it was different compounds of tires. We had Dunlops, we had Yokeys, we had Bridgestone. And at the start of the race, it was freaking wet, like wet. Cedo on pole, Brocky next to him, like it was. I can still see it. It's
like so wet they don't even race in that kind of weather anymore. I think that's what I feel.
it's a red flag condition. And they started in it because back then they were men. They were real men. They went racing and lady. I'm sure we've got some women these days who would actually race like that. So, you know what? We had the race start and it started bad for us. Because immediately the Holdens were strong in the wet. You had Scaife at the front. You had Brocky chasing. You had Larry, Lightning Larry. Remember the calls? Like, he was sideways out of the cutting, chasing down Brocky, and it was a masterclass in the wet to watch all those boys just absolutely go for it, hammer and tong at the start of the race. And it was a different area. Like, the commentary back then, they actually commentated on the race, Damo.
Not only did they commentate on it, they also were still cutting to drivers whilst they're going across the top of the mountain, talking to Dick Johnson, talking to Cedo, talking to Larry. Like, it is phenomenal watching some of the old highlights of what they used to do. But you are right. It was an epic start from the Commodores, and we definitely were feeling a little bit like, oh, no, it's happening again.
It was literally like that. And at the time, you know, like, obviously DJ and Bowie, who won the race, you know, they started at the back of the 10 because they had all sorts of trouble. They hit the wall in quali. So, you know, they, not that they weren't considered, but I don't think any of us really thought at the time that they would potentially end up getting towards the front in the end. But I mean, we'll get to that. Right at the end of the first stint, you had Jonesy on fire. So the track had just dried up a little bit, and it seemed to start to favour the Ford. So they started to come back to the fore, and Jonesy, mate, he was flying, and they loved it. But that opening stint was absolutely crazy. We had a lot of safety cars.
There's a lot of carnage, especially with so many cars.
Well, why? Yeah, I actually don't remember the carnage. I remember all the safety cars because I always spoke to Dickie.
Yes.
So every time it's like we'll go and talk to Dick Johnson in the car and see what's going on, and he'd tell jokes. I think that's why it endeared me.
My goodness, wouldn't it be fantastic if they started doing this again during the safety car periods, going to the drivers? Oh, they could shut Scaife and Crompo up for a little bit.
Oh, be bliss. I remember sitting there and DJ, I can't remember the actual joke.
You got a little ditty for everyone at home? You must be able to think of a quickie.
A quickie? Oh, no, I'll give you a longie. Like, we got a whole 5 minutes here.
What's the best one you've heard this week?
Well, it's just probably about the guy who wanted to know about what diplomacy was all about. And he had this fruit and veggie shop, and this dear old lady came in and said, Sonny, I'd really like to buy a half a cabbage, but, you know, I don't know whether you sell them by halves. And he said, I'll have to go at the back and see the boss. So he goes out the back, and the boss says, what's the matter? And he said, well, I got this silly old bag out the front here. She wants to buy half a cabbage, and he's gesturing to her saying, she's right behind you, unbeknownst to him. And he said, oh, well, I've also got this dear old soul out there would love to buy the other half. And the guy said, that's terrific. He said, you know, he said, I've got opening up a new shop in Mackay, and he said, I'd really like you to go and run it for me. And he said, really? He said, Mackay? Good heavens, he said, that's full of truck drivers. He said, the boss said, really? He said, my wife came from Mackay. He said, oh, really? What sort of truck did she drive?
Oh, Dick. Listen, are you going on and win this?
Yeah, let's go. It was great. I mean, that actually, this sparks my memory again. So in 1995, I know this is skipping away from 94 just for a brief second.
Yes.
There was actually a sprint round at Bathurst, and they were chatting to Dick Johnson while he was racing, and his rear wing broke going down Conrod.
Yep, it did. And they had no idea. The commentary were like sort of like something went wrong, and they're like, did we distract him? Like they'll say, and he's like, no, mate, the wing's broken.
The wing's broken. Big moment.
Yeah.
Live. Yeah. Oh, man, I used to love that stuff. It was so good.
Yes.
It was so good. Who was the commentator back then? Because I used to have Murray. There was a guy called Murray.
Oh. I remember there was like, obviously it's the main host. There was like Sandy Roberts, and then you had Gary Wilkinson.
Yes.
You had...
there was special comments from a guy. It was a comedian, Murray.
Oh, okay.
Sure, I can't think of his name. I'll have to have a look and put it somewhere.
Yep.
But yeah, no, like just the commentary team was almost wild. It was so good, and it was thoroughly enjoyable. But yeah, anyway, back to the race. So it started to dry up. Things sort of played out. Cito was just never that strong. He was there, but thereabouts, but never really strong. And in the end, for him, he had an engine issue. Bowe really screwed him, because Bowe did his father, Bowe Seaton, used to do the engines from memory. And 2 years in a row, he had the misfire in 94 and the heartbreak in 95.
Yeah, so close to the end. It was like a $2 part in 95. Oh my gosh. That was the worst. One of my least favourite Bathurst, that one.
But it was really, this race is built on the last two stints.
Yep.
Where Jones has brought this secondary HRT car after Brocky's put the main one in the fence.
In the fence.
That's Peter Brock. And everyone, sorry. But
one of the main contenders out, we're happy.
Yeah, exactly. One of the main contenders out, and but the second of that was the Brad Jones, of course, and a very, very young Craig Lowndes. Rookie, the kid. He's put one on the outside. I didn't think it was possible. Comment. We love that. This was that race where Lowndes was on the main stage and he missed his break and went around the outside of John Bowe, the Griffin's Bend. Griffin's Bend? Yeah, Griffin's Bend.
Yeah, Griffin's, turn two,
Turn two. So he's hit the brake, missed it, got on the brake again, managed to go around the outside of JB, and JB thought, oh, shit.
And it was hours. Everybody thought it was pure skill, and how good was Lounsey? It was hours. Might have even been a day before we actually found out that he actually owned up to, no, I actually missed my brake marker and somehow managed to tip it in through the corner. But that was kind of like that was like Bowie goes, excuse me, you did what to me?
You did what?
I take that personally. And then he just spent the next few laps on it. He had switched himself on.
Yeah, he chastised the back of Lowndes. He hurried him over the top. He was so close. He never touched him, but he just kept going and hounding this young Craig Lowndes. And it was actually a back marker coming down into the last corner that just didn't quite see them coming. And Lowndes went down the inside of him and he got squeezed onto the curb, which obviously stopped his run. Bowie got a better exit, got down the inside, turn one, up Mountain Straight, all over. And that was the moment that John said, I don't think so, kid, and just broke his heart. Just fastest laps, just pushed all the way, broke him, and brought home what I consider the best win for Dick Johnson Racing at the Mountain. The first one for Ford in the new era of the 5 litres back then. And that iconic FAI shell Falcon, the yellow, the red wheels and the blue. It was just an epic. I mean, I remember that particular car, there was a drawing or a sketch that somebody did after their win. And that sketch was sold consistently in a shop near us. And every time you go past, you're just reminded of that time. And it's, pretty special moment for me. I know it's a pretty special moment for you as well, Damo.
Yeah,
that's why, for me, 94, the changeable conditions, the big name out, it was an epic battle. And won by the right people, although Cito was my man at that time. So
yeah, but one of the right people that we followed. Well, it was a good entry from you, but not the best, not the greatest in my opinion. Because although it was definitely one of my favorites, and it's definitely lived with us, as we said, but for me, there was a great one of the best. It had literally everything. It had boredom. It had chaos. It had a rear of the grid to win on the final lap. 2014, Chaz Mostert, Paul the Dude Morris, who did not help Chaz at all. But Chaz got it done from the rear of the grid, and there is nothing more striking than that win than Mozzie's haircut during that period. Being a young lad, he had the big buff on. It was a classic.
Look, it was a good race. It's not the best, mate. I'm sorry. It's just not the best. And the reason it's not the best for the reasons of what happened in the middle. One, it's the longest race ever. Two, the track was in terrible condition, which is what caused the red flag. And three, people were able to fix their freaking cars up while the track was getting fixed. Ridiculous.
Yeah, they did change the rules, and it was a brand new rule that came in that just happened to fall into place that that they could still fix their cars. They couldn't, so they could fix cars, they couldn't refuel, and they couldn't change tires. They were the only two caveats. So everything else was do what you like. So it was a bit of a weird one. Yeah, pretty much. But it was also very special for me. And probably the reason why I feel like it's my favorite is because I was there. And so it was a very, very long day, And I just remember the heat and everything else, but it was crazy. Now, they started 25th, so we're back to the grid sizes that we're now used to rather than having 50-odd cars. We're back to 25, so Chaz started dead last, and he was alongside Reynolds and Whincup, who also had problems during the quali, and they had ended up way down the back. So there was all these hot trot freaking drivers waiting to peg their way through the field. And when they started, Whincup had managed, after about 4 laps, after about 30 laps, he made his way through to like 4th or something. He just plowed through the field. And I was just there going, like, Chaz, come on, let's go. He was still down in 19th. Like, he really hadn't gone anywhere. Now, let's cap off some of the stuff that happened during that race because there was so much. So, in terms of that car, Paul Morris, there was a pit stop. Paul Morris put it into Griffith Bean into the turn 2, into the wall. And he spent the better part of almost a whole lap, managed to stay on the lead lap, but almost the whole lap trying to reverse the thing out. It was just like spinning it up, and he was just slowly moving it. Got himself unpegged from the tire barrier and managed to do it. And that was because, as you mentioned, the track was breaking up. So in that, the crucial part of, I guess, the banked part of where you turn into that corner, the road had been destroyed. Now, they'd done a repair on it earlier in the week, and in the weekend, I should say. And yeah, it was just breaking up, and that was what ended up causing the red flag to stop. So that wasn't great in terms of the spectacle, because we were all sitting there going, what the hell are we going to do now? So we went and cooked some more food on the barbie. We kind of just, tried to fill in the time. But there was just literally like the amount of crashes. Lee Holdsworth in that same corner ended up on his roof from a similar kind of thing that happened earlier in the week where Luff, I think, had a brake issue or something, and then clipped into crap. I've just forgotten who it was.
Was that the Tander one? Or was that
Tander? Thank you.
Was it Tander? Or was it
Ingle was
later on?
Ingle was the one that hit Lee Holdsworth in the AMG that ended up on the roof during the race. Yes. Yeah, so it was the Tander one earlier in the week. There was a massive crash. Scotty Pye, who was pretty early in his thing, but had a steering failure at the chase. We had even the safety car had lost its light bar at one point under a safety car period. There was just stuff happening everywhere, and the only real consistency was that Whincup was fast, and
fucking fast.
He was real fast, and Chaz was fast, and Chaz had to do a lot of legwork to try and keep that car on the lead lap, and then it just started falling into the right spots with pit stops and the safety cars. It all started happening, and then we get to like the tail end of the fucking race where, hello darkness, my old friend. Jamie Whincup had fuel issues, okay? Jamie Whincup had fuel issues. What a surprise. He's had a few of them over the years. But what was hilarious was that his team were desperately screaming at him in the last few laps saying, mate, we've got no fuel. You've got to conserve. Mate, you've got to fuel. Chaz ended up getting a bit of a free kick, got a top up, and was absolutely beautiful for fuel. We had Lowndes and Frosty had to come in and do some splashes, and they were going to be right. But what happened to Frosty? Do you remember?
He got nailed by Lowndes after the restart. So through turn one, Lowndes absolutely just drove through him and turned him around. I remember being massively pissed.
We were screaming at the TV. It was terrible. Like, it was just a blatant. He ended up getting a pit lane penalty, so like a full drive through. And that basically took both of them out of the race, and it was left up to Chaz and Whincup. Then we get to the final lap, I think it was, or maybe it was the lap before the final lap, where Couchy had been trying to tell Jamie, mate, you've got to lift, you've got to coast, you've got to brighten out, we haven't got enough fuel. It got to that, I think it was after the second last lap it was, because Damo gets on there, who was then the next boss up, was telling Jamie, mate, we've got one lap of fuel and we've got a lap and a half to go. You have to roll out. Copy this message, because for I think it was 2 or 3 laps prior, Jamie just wasn't answering. Scaife was going off his nuts. His radio can't be working. He's not copying. He always copies. And then finally, when Damo got on there, he's like, copy, and started rolling out.
Yep.
But it was all too late, mate. It was all too late, because there was Chaz, like your family pet, doing a little bit of that boop, 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 and just like pushes his way through, takes the win. The FPR garage goes nuts after losing the Frosty opportunity. Yep. And then they just go through, and guess what? Chaz wins Bathurst. Oh man, it was so good up on the hill. And not only that, but who managed to come through for second, mate? Do you remember?
Was that the oh no, it wouldn't have been them.
I remember.
No, I don't actually.
Oh,
who came in second? Oh, the Nissan boys.
Moffat and
Moff.
Taz Douglas
Jeez.
managed, and their car was exactly pretty much the same as Chaz. They'd been in the wall in the same
That's
place.
right. It was
They,
buggered.
they had tape all over it. Like both of those cars had been through the wars, and they ended up passing because they were right for fuel. They came
Jamie
through.
ended up 5th, didn't he? In the end,
Yes.
was it 5th? Yeah.
Percat came through to snag 3rd. So
Wow.
yeah, so you had 3 manufacturers, Ford taking the win. Oh, it was so great on the and then even if you watch the YouTube today, if you watch the full thing, at the very end, 8 hours and 13 minutes, something 30 seconds, I'm up on the wall at the top of the mountain with my Ford flag. We're up there. You can see me on there. I'm in perpetuity. I'm in that video. So it was a great time to be on the mountain. Ford wins last to first, and pretty sure that's the last time it was done too. So the great Chaz Mostert.
The great Chaz Mostert. Yes, look, I will. It was a good race, but still not the best. Sorry, it's just not the best.
It was
anything that takes 7 or 8 hours and they're allowed to touch their cars under park fairway conditions is just not the best. But I will say that Jamie's car was a freaking rocket that day. It was so fast. Like, I think it was Reynolds recently being interviewed that he literally said, he goes, mate, I was driving down a straight and Jamie just went, New. I was like, the hell? That was so fast that day, massively quick in a straight line, which makes me remember, what year was it? Was that the 13? Yeah, I think 13 was the Xbox car.
Yes.
Where they set it up to be an absolute jet in a straight line. And that car was so fast. But they learned, I think, how to set Jamie's car up for the year after. By doing that, they knew that the car was going to be a rocket and he'd be able to overtake. And it was scary at the start when he was picking everyone off, but the end result was great because we love it when Jamie fails.
And if anyone remembers how many years we got to enjoy a fuel issue with Jamie Whincup, mate, he got in so much trouble from Roland Dane and Damo over that, and the hilarity of him just finishing, crossing the line, car stops, he gets out and he does the old throws his hands up, and like the crowd's going nuts. It's like not sure why you're confused, Jamie. There was about 30 messages that you missed that you didn't acknowledge that you could have got to the end and maybe snag 3rd if you'd done it right. But anyway,
look, possible, but I will give one thing to Jamie. He basically says if you're not winning, he doesn't care. Like he just wants to win, and
it's his motto.
So he will sacrifice absolutely everything in the name of trying to win. So if that means it fails completely, he doesn't care. I distinctly remember you text messaging me consistently for the last 10 laps. Is he going to run out of fuel? Is he going to run out of fuel? Is he going to run out of fuel? And on the last lap, I got, he better run out of fuel.
Because when you're on the mountain, the networks don't work very well, so the messages kind of don't come through very succinctly. You can't watch the screens. You can kind of see them, but the commentary you can't hear with all the cars going past all the time. So we were all trying to figure out, we're up there going, he's going to be out of fuel, because we knew roughly when the stops were. We knew that they were pushing through, they'd have to lift and coast, and that Chaz didn't have to, but it just took too long. And we're up at Reed Park and McPhillamy, and like that was where it was all. Chaz was on his bumper. The crowd went nuts when he went through there, and then we see on the screen Forest Elbow. Boop, 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 boop. See you later, Jamie.
He probably didn't even.
Oh, it was so good. No, he didn't. I think it was more just the car, because Jamie's car coughed, and so he was like, "Oop." But it was a great feeling when that happened. Just
can you imagine? Just run with me here, like a hypothetical. Jamie coughs at the wrong time, and instead of getting him where he did, like in terms of he turns him around and then cops a penalty. That's a Nissan Bathurst win.
Oh, that would have been a legit win. No funny fuel.
No.
They could have claimed. Yeah. Because it could have been in the wrong spot, especially at certain points up, across the mountain. It could have been exactly that. But thankfully,
it wasn't.
Paul Morris gets a Bathurst win. Chaz gets his Bathurst win. Damo was happy.
Damo was happy. Yeah, I was pretty happy. I was pretty excited. Not going to lie, especially because that was 2 years in a row with the fact that Frosty had won the year before and then Chaz got it the year after. But look, both races were really good. As we sort of touched on, a lot of the races have been pretty good. But I do feel like we haven't had a good Bathurst for a while now. An actual ding dong battle Bathurst, where there's multiples who can actually win it. So let's hope that this year that's the case with one of the leading forward teams, either Brody or Cam or just driving away in the last sort of 10 laps, just to make my heart okay and secure it. Then I'll be happy.
I disagree. I want Brody to drive away from lap 1 to lap 161. It can be as boring as fuck for you other Commodore Chevy people, because the last two have been so bad where it's just been no chance. It's just like, I can't. I'm okay with it being the other way. I'm okay. If it's a really good race, that's better for everyone, of course. But I'm not going to hold I'm not going to hold back at all. If Brody could just drive away, that would be the best. Anyway.
Look, I mean, I won't complain either, but I think we probably for the series needs to be a better race.
Yeah,
because they need all the help they can get.
And if it's not, if there's a certain car manufacturer that is driving away that we don't really want, jump on the socials. No doubt at all, Steve will be firing off. And then maybe there'll be some double posts because I'll be angry and I'll be posting too.
So maybe I should get a few beers and then it could get really spicy and we'll probably get cancelled.
Let's do it.
Let's. All right. So the best Bathurst are done. You think it's 2014. I say it's 1994. You tell us in the comments how wrong we are. Give us yours. If you're a Holden person, it's fine. Like
the closest.
Seriously. I feel like every freaking year, Scaife is banging on out. This is the closest race we've ever had. It's like, no, it's
he'll
not.
be itching to say it because he hasn't been able to for the last few years. So you're the one that doesn't want to get cancelled.
I might need to cut that one out.
Just make it one big bleep. If you've just heard a big bleep, you don't get to hear what was said. And that means we're not getting cancelled.
Maybe we should start a Patreon so that we can give them what we've actually said.
We'll need to if you keep doing that.
Pay for the fine. No, I just I want to I don't want to hear about droop. I don't want to hear about how close it is. I don't want to hear any of that shit. I just want to hear people commentating on the race and what's going on without this egotistical, I'm telling you what's going on, even though what's happening right now is right in front of you and you're not talking about it. Like, that shits me. Just commentate the freaking race and let us, enjoy it. Sorry, I've gone off on a tangent. That was definitely not part of what we were supposed to be talking about. Let's fire on to this weekend. And some news around the area, mate, because we have had a little bit of news heading into this one. Still no news on engine front, although I believe that was supposed to finish up today. On the testing. So
yes,
see what comes out of that in the wash tomorrow. But Nick Percat, Damien, has announced his retirement from Supercars. Now, Nick Percat started in 2012 or 2011? 2011, because he won the Bathurst 1000 on debut with Garth Tander. He also hit the wall exiting Griffin's Bend, but they survived that, and they got the win. But it's fair to say that his career really didn't do much after that. He had a couple of wins in extreme circumstances that sort of allowed it to happen. But he's had a bit of a struggle, and his last few years since his move to Walkinshaw really have...
It's been tough.
It's been pretty tough. So are we surprised that he's called time?
Not really, other than the fact that he does still have a contract. So technically, clearly there's something. He was a bit hit and miss whether he actually wanted to come back the last time. He sort of felt like maybe his time was done. And so maybe this return, he kind of got a little bit of a spark because of a new team, etc. But then it's just faded away a little bit, and he's just struggling too much because, he was kind of okay last year, his first year with Matt Stone. Yeah, but this year it really hasn't been able to produce much at all. I guess the surprise is that now that is announced, tomorrow I would expect an announcement for his replacement, because that seems to be the path that happens.
Next day we're on. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the reel of what he said, because I actually haven't listened to it. So I thought we could possibly play it. And we can all have a listen together.
I'll be kind of retiring or stepping back from full-time racing or full-time supercar racing at the end of the season. It's been a very tough decision over the last few months to get my head around and understand it, but the decision was kind of made partly thanks to the J&D family. I was at Ipswich watching them test and realised how much I do enjoy the other side of the fence and being able to give back to the sport. So there's a lot of exciting news into the future of the J&D racing, but at the moment, I'd like to thank everyone for my career since Bathurst 2011, obviously winning that race, but the mentorship I had with Garth Tander and James Courtney and the whole HRT crew then all the way through to now with race wins and 1-2s and amazing results with our current crew has been really, really, really cool. But I can't, ever forget the memories of driving at Brad Jones Racing with Andrew Edwards was probably the highlight of my career, which is really, really cool. And to be honest, it might have been some hard days, but being Chaz Mostert's teammate was extremely fun. I didn't get the results we wanted, but we did get a memorable 1-2 for Holden at the Adelaide 500. So I just want to thank everyone who's been on the journey, everyone who's on my helmet here. A mention to James Rosenberg, who supported me in 2014 in my rookie year, and he's still my helmet today, supporting me at MSR, which is really, really cool to have someone like that on board. So we head to Bathurst. We've got one job, and that's to get a massive result for myself and Tim Slade, and it's very fitting that my last drive there as a full-time driver is with Tim Slade. It's something that I really wanted to do through my whole career, and to do it is really special. So I can't thank him enough for coming on board and the support he's given. And see you for the last few rounds this year, and hopefully we get some big results.
Look, well done, Nick Percat. Congratulations on a career. It is hard to get into this series no matter what. Even if the results didn't go your way, especially at WAU, you still did pretty well to get there and to survive it for as long as you have. So congratulations on a good career, mate, and we obviously wish you all the best for whatever's ahead.
Indeed. And on some other news, Reynolds,
he's staying, Damo. The tinfoil hat, all of it. He's here.
Yeah, the weirdo is staying, and the announcement is well worth
man.
watching if you haven't. It's not one we can play it for you, but it's much better if you watch his fake mustache and I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, obviously a great announcement that he's actually staying. I think it's the right thing for the team at this point,
Yes.
and then they can keep working with Harry, who can then perhaps take over in the year following if that is the way it's going to work. So. Exciting times for Reynolds. He's kept his seat for at least another year, we think.
He has.
So, yes, there we go.
I think it's pretty good. Well on Daffy. The day that we actually lose him from the series is probably a bit of a sad day. Like whether you like him or loathe him, he's highly entertaining. So another year for Daffy. So Thursday, it all kicks off in the afternoon, Damo.
Yes. 1:20, it all kicks off. That's the first practice. Practice 2 is at the end of the day. That's the co-drivers only. So
I see.
Getting some running done, and it's always exciting just the first time they get out onto the track, and so block out your calendars in your work if you can, and get yourself in front of the TV. So
I wish I'll be working on the Friday. I'll see it on Thursday, but the Friday I'm working, which sucks because that's qualifying. And speaking of qualifying, Damien, if young Brody Kostecki manages to secure pole position after the top 10 shootout, that will be 3 in a row. and the only 2 others that have done that are a young Alan Moffat and a young Peter Brock. Back in the 70s, I believe, for both of them, if I'm not correct.
Yeah, so great and powerful drivers. And Brody is the only one potentially to match them. That is amazing if he can pull that off.
Yeah, absolutely epic. And obviously they're shooting for their second victory at the mountain.
Yes.
And if they pull that off, it'll be the first time since 1998 and 1999 for when Stephen Richards won in 2 different makes over 2 different separate years. So I'm looking forward to it. Are we rooting for Brody? Is this do we feel like he's our best chance? It kind of feels like that, doesn't it?
It does, yeah. I just don't think, if we look at the other 4 teams, just don't see WAU and Tickford just didn't seem to have the mustard. Now, WAU are a little better at the mountain, so potentially, we'll see how that kind of goes. But yeah, I'm almost at the thought of we've got no chance bar 1 car. It just feels so reminiscent of the old days, mate.
Look, I think we've got more of a chance. I'm interested, right? So this is the first time we go there with this tyre. So we've had the hard tyre last year, which did fuck all. And then we had the soft tyre the year before, which was fuck all. So this year we have the 2025 tyre that, recovers, but it doesn't really degrade. So they will be pushing pretty hard, I reckon. The word on the street, Scott Pye said that in the AAA debrief, they don't have to fuel save, so they can go pretty much flat out for the entire stint. So he expects it to be quite fast paced.
Yes.
So I guess we'll see what happens there. We do have the extended driver laps for the co-drivers. They have to do 38% of the race, I think it was. About 54
sounds correct.
Or maybe more laps of the race. I can't remember now. Somebody correct us in the comments below. Tell us, because we're nowhere.
That sounds right to me.
So we've got a few things going on, and if it is a really fast race, there's probably a higher chance of someone making a mistake. So we might actually see more safety cars.
That will be the hope. They've obviously adjusted the TV times because the starting time is pushed back as well, remember? And so they're anticipating it to be a fast one. But I guess if everybody's pushing hard all race, there should be more mistakes that happen. So I guess it's going to be about, preservation, really. Being fast, but getting through all that. And, it's still haven't heard anything about the engine, so I guess we'll post up something short and sweet once that's announced. We'll put a little separate video. Just one of us will get on there and talk through the changes so that we can share that in case you need it. But
Or not.
yeah,
There's not.
well, that's true. As I predicted, I don't think we're going to know anything about that until they roll out on Thursday, where they're probably going to be testing it for real because, they seem to be very late. Very late.
This annoys me because if there are changes, there should have been an opportunity. This should have been done earlier so that there's an opportunity to go to a track and actually determine whether those changes
just 10
right
laps. Just run 10 laps. Yeah.
You know, if they make changes now, I mean, I'm almost not against them making the changes, but it just feels like you might shoot yourself in the foot if you go into a race with a completely different configuration that's completely untested. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Ford say. They push pretty hard all year to make this happen, and Supercars sort of sat on their hands for a long, sustained period of time, as they seem to do. So let's just see if there's an announcement, if there's anything to report. Or maybe they'll just come out and say, no, everything's fine. We think it might have been the aero imbalance, and we think we've rectified that.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve. Let's finish on a bit of a positive. For those of you that still put in the comments on Facebook and stuff on stuff, this is a free-to-air. You can watch it on Channel 7, so it'll be on 7 and 7 Plus. So if you don't have KO or Fox Sports, for our New Zealand brothers and sisters, cousins, it's Sky Sports all the way over there. So yes, they check your local guides for coverage times, but yes, this is one of the big races, so it is available with all the ads. Despite me paying for or giving Dad some money to keep his KO subscription going, last year he still watched it on free to air and then complained about the ads. Good one, Dad. So this year I'm forcing him to watch it.
Shit. Yep. Look, it's going to be a good one. Hopefully, fingers crossed. I wasn't excited. I'm now a little excited, but also a little bit nervous. So let's see how this plays out. Before we close this off, Damien, I just want to congratulate Shane Van Gisbergen, fifth win of the year at the Charlotte Roval. He won by 17 odd seconds, beating Kyle Larson home. But the end of that race, I will just say, was absolutely epic between Hamlin and Shane's teammate, Chase Elliott. Is it Chase Elliott?
Yep. I think it was Chase Elliott. Yeah.
Where he dived for it was never happening. Takes out Denny and then literally hooks reverse and just smokes him up in reverse to go across the line and try and get himself into the playoffs, but it didn't work.
No, that was the thing. He got taken out, so he's missed the playoffs because that was what's the name got through and ended up securing his spot in the playoffs over a reversing car. That part of NASCAR, I just can't understand. It's just not fair for me. Like, you can't fucking take someone out.
Oh, it's good.
Chaos.
I want this to come to Supercars so bad. But I loved it. I love seeing that silliness sort of come out, and it was a good race over there. But well done, Shane. You've had a stellar year. You finished 10th the weekend before at Kansas City Raceway, which was also quite impressive on an oval. So yes, NASCAR is coming to an end, and Supercars, this is our grand final of grand finals, I guess. So tune in, guys. I hope you love the race, and check us out on the socials at the Valve Bounce. You can find us around. Hashtag Valvers. Should we do hashtag Valvers, or should we do hashtag TVB Bathurst?
Ooh, or bouncers.
Or bouncers.
Let's. I don't know. What do you think?
Valvers? Maybe they can decide. Let us know.
We'll pick one. We'll do both.
We'll do both.
We'll see which one we
No.
like. Yeah.
So put in TVB Bathurst or
Yeah.
the Valvers or Valvers hashtag, and we'll try and keep an eye on it across the weekend.
Perfect.
Easy. All right, guys.
Love your
Thanks
work.
for tuning in. Speak to you
Let's
later.
go.
Go
It's
Ford!
Bathurst!
Go on, Ford!
Woo!